We're joined now on the podcast by Martina O'Brien to chat about her recent decision to step back from inter-county football. Martina, I have the tissues ready here. I hope you have the tissues ready there, because this is going to get quite emotional over the next 10 or 15 minutes.
All the crying's done, it's fine.
Oh, good stuff. Just take me back to, so like I said there, you've stepped back from inter-county football with Cork after 10 years with the seniors. What's the thinking behind that decision?
I suppose there's a few things really, like definitely in the last year, 2 years, I suppose, since kind of COVID and everything, work kind of coming back to normal. It's just ramped up really, like, and time was the biggest thing, I suppose. Time, and probably the body wasn't able to do as much as it could do. But I suppose the time and that kind of interconnected. You didn't have time to maybe give yourself enough recovery, which then impacted on you going to training and matches and everything a little bit more tired than I usually would have been. So yeah, I definitely would work. I was kind of not giving enough hours to it in the day, really. Like, you know, there'd be kind of gigs coming up and jobs coming up that I'd be saying no to because I knew I had football. And there comes a stage to that you just can't, you know, be doing that anymore. And I'm self-employed as well, so, you know, I suppose you can't be turning down work every second week, because people just aren't going to come back to you then, you know. And if you are trying to build your business and you're looking to the future, football is going to be gone at some time. So I suppose I had to really sit down and think about it. And then look, the body just wasn't recovering enough, I think. Since 2018, I don't think we really have had an off season, because from 2018 we rolled into 2019, and then 2019 we rolled into 2020. And I suppose then when COVID happened, we just kind of trained through that, you know, as in you were training at home by yourself to keep yourself occupied more than anything. At the end of 2020, then we had our inter-county season, and then we rolled back into 2021. And I suppose in 2021 ended pretty abruptly for us, you know, like me beat us in the All-Ireland semi-final, and that was a hard one to take. And then work was really busy. So I suppose I came into 2022 thinking this is definitely going to be the last season. Like there's not going to be, I just can't give another one. So I was going into it kind of knowing myself that it was going to be my last one.
That realization, so it seems like you've come to terms with it, like with that you are going to step back even before the season. Like you said there, you knew going into this season it was going to be your last. So did that almost give you time to say that long goodbye, because it wasn't a very abrupt end? You went out on your own terms.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way I wanted it anyway. Whenever I was going to retire, that I wanted it to be kind of on my own terms, and not saying kind of, look, you're surplus to requirements, you know, you can leave. But I had made a decision anyway. I knew at the start of the year that I was going to enjoy everything that came, that the season just gone. So, and I think I did, you know, every training session, every match, you know, I just enjoyed the environment a bit more. Really had like a lot of fun. I enjoyed all the girls. I just enjoyed everything that we did really that bit more, knowing that probably at the end of it I was going, and I wouldn't be doing it again. Like even the last time we played in Croke Park, you know, you just, there's going to be a last for everything. And I think I had kind of built myself up to enjoy all those moments a bit more. And I did. Look, the year ended, I suppose. The year didn't end great for us, and obviously nobody wants to go out the way we did, but it is what it is. Sport is what it is, and I'm happy with my decision in the end of the day.
Like 10 years with the Cork seniors, incredible success over that time. I want to take you back to 2013. You were working in Kerry at the time, and the then Cork selector Justin McCarthy gave you a phone call to say, "Will you come in here with the Cork seniors?" What was it like for a young player going into that setup under the legendary Eamon Ryan with Elaine Hart? I think she'd 7 All-Irelands at the time. Everybody looked at that dressing room, Martina, it was just living legends of Cork football. So what was it like as a young footballer heading into that setup?
Oh, like, it was, I suppose it was exciting to start. It was definitely scary. I kind of, when I got the phone call, I was like, really? Do you really want me to come in? But look, once I went in there, like, business as usual. The girls didn't take a notice. You were in the panel now. You were training. Do what you have to do. because everyone had their job. So like it was overwhelming at the start, I suppose, but you just got to grips with it. But everyone was so nice, everyone was so good. They did give me my kind of, I suppose, period to adapt, like, in fairness, and probably were a bit more tolerable than they would have been other players coming in. But no, it was certainly, it was daunting, but like all those girls, they had, what, as you said, 7, 8 All Irelands at that stage, and they were also welcoming, and they just open arms. You know, that group of players they were just phenomenal, and no, it was something I'll always remember. I suppose that moment that I did go to training, the first training was scary time, all right, but we got over it.
And then Elaine Hart stepped away, I think, in early 2014. So you took ownership of that Cork #1 jersey and you held it for so many years. But I know 2014 was a great year for Cork football. But you told me before, Martina, that you found that year quite hard, like kind of that you were very self-critical of yourself, even though you were the Cork #1, even though Cork were winning all around them. Like, did you were probably very, like I said, they're very critical of your own performances?
Yeah, I think it was fine coming in the middle of 2013. You know, you were kind of given your chance to find your feet and whatnot. And I suppose when 2014 started in, there was more of an expectation that, look, you're here now, you've had a bit of time. And like, there was no one saying that to me. That was my own expectation, I suppose. And that's the kind of what I put on myself, that I've had my time to kind of settle in, so I should really be doing a bit more. So yeah, 2014, even though we had a phenomenal year, and like the way it ended was unbelievable. But I suppose looking back in that year was tough because it was my first real full year. And there was expectations, I suppose, from myself, but also from outside, that yeah, you're taking the jersey now from one of the best goalkeepers to ever play, like, you know. So that was a tough year, but I learned a lot from that, I suppose. And going into 2015 and onwards, that I suppose that year really set me up, because I did learn a lot. And I was given the time and the help from everybody else around me to kind of settle into the jersey as well.
They're real glory years for Cork football. Like, you won 4 All-Irelands and the bounce 2013, 14, 15 and 16. So does any one of those stand out above the others?
Well, I suppose you have to say 2014, just the way that it ended, like being what it was, down 8-10 points down and maybe 12 minutes to go. Like, that will always be a memory. I don't think I'll ever forget even the feeling when they kind of got that goal after half time, and you kind of having that initial thought that, oh God, we might actually lose this here, to that going out of your head straight away. And like, I still get that, the kind of butterflies in your stomach when you think about the points going over, this Emer Scally's goal, Rona's goal, us leveling the match, and then the feeling afterwards. You know, you'll always have that, and it'll always be there. I think that's probably one of the most special ones. And 2016, I suppose, the last time we won a 2 would have been another special one. But to be honest, everyone is going to, like, 4 All Irelands. You can't really pick one out being better than the other either. I mean, we're lucky to have one. Never mind. I'm lucky to have one. Never mind to have 4.
I suppose for 3 of those All Irelands under the legendary Eamon Ryan, an amazing man, what he did for Cork football in general. What was it like to be a player under Eamon?
Again, I have to use the word being very lucky. There is so many players in Cork that probably, like, they maybe didn't get the chance to play around that time, or, you know, we had so many good players that you can't have more. You know, you had 35 on a panel, so you weren't going to have any more. So I felt incredibly lucky, I suppose, and especially looking back at it now, and what Eamon achieved with that team, and just the man that he was, to have any involvement in a team like that, and even get to know Eamon and get to train under him. Like, incredibly lucky. And I think everyone who did get that chance realizes how lucky they were, because he really was. He was incredible on the pitch and off the pitch. And if you ever had a chat with him, and you just knew he was special. You know, he had nothing about it. He was just the man that you saw in front of him was that he had, there was nothing else. So yeah, I think incredibly lucky is the word that I'd use.
And such success in those early years, like I said, there was 4 All Irelands in their first 4 season. But it's been a barren spell for Cork, you could say, in the All Ireland in senior title wise since that last win in 2016. What was it like going from that, Martina, from coming into a setup where you're so used to winning All Irelands, and then in the last couple of years Cork have just been close, but just not close enough.
Yeah, it look, I suppose when you're winning, you think you're going to keep winning. Like, you know, I suppose you're very naive that way. 2017, then to be fair, I think looking back, like I can sit back now and say 2017 to 2021, we were there or thereabouts. Like we were still pushing. We got to the 2018 All-Ireland final in 2020. So it's not like we fell off the face of the earth either. I think we were very critical of ourselves over the past couple of years. And I suppose I can look back now and say, look, we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, but we definitely, like, we were there thereabouts. And it is unfortunate. And there's many things. I suppose we met a Dublin team that were just taking over at the time, and they were very formidable. And then look at the Meath team now. You know, you're just they're reminiscent of his Cork team starting off back when we won back in about 15 years ago. You know, so I think at the time it was incredibly hard. You're coming from winning All Irelands to not. It's very hard to see that, and we were very critical of ourselves, I think, and rightly so at those times, that we should have been doing better. But there was that transitional period for a little bit of time, but we hated that word too. I suppose transition wasn't something we wanted to see ourselves doing. I think looking back, I think we did as much as we could. Look, could we have won another All Ireland? Maybe, if other circumstances had gone our way. But look, the underage is going, like, Cork are winning every year in nearly all grades. So you think that conveyor belt should really be coming to the fore in senior. It hasn't. Probably something that they need to look at and work on. But look, there's talent there. There's always going to be talent in Cork. I think there's a lot of work going on in different divisions, and you see definitely in the West Cork division, I suppose you have these the development squads and all that kind of stuff. They can keep those going and make proper competitions out of them. I'm sure the same is going on in North Cork, East Cork, and Mid Cork, but I know West Cork are doing great work with those. So if you can keep those going and keep those rolling on to the county teams, then, I mean, there should probably be a smooth transition from one to the other. I've no doubt Cork will be where they want to be. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after that, who knows? But they definitely have the talent for it.
It's actually a great point, Martina. Coming off all the minor success over the last couple of years, but that step up from minor to senior, like it is a big gap. So what can be done almost to help the players take that next step? Because we don't have under 20, under 21 football in ladies football. We don't have the senior B set up, and it is a big step and a big ask of young players to come off of a minor team and really make an impact straight away.
Yeah. Not many minors have done it really, like, I suppose in the last while there, Cochet. You get some incredible girls like that, but not like, the physicality is totally different now. The fitness levels, you know, you're definitely going to be taking at least 2 years where you might have to kind of give your body the chance to adapt. I do think they need some form of a competition that bridges that gap from minor to senior. Now I know in maybe the junior intermediate grades, it'll be marginally easier for teams to take their minors out and integrate them into their senior teams. But I think at senior level, it's just too hard. So they're gonna have to look at it. I think you're gonna lose a lot of talented girls to they're not going to play football because they might not get onto the senior team straight away. So you're losing that talent that might actually peak in their 20s. Whether it's an under 20s competition, under 21, they just need something, and something that's actually going to be viable. Now, I suppose you see with a lot of teams that their minors come straight off minor and come into the senior setup. So there might be problems with those players doing too much, but they have to sit down and look at it at this stage, I suppose. Look, you see the J doing it. They do it well. Maybe, I know there's been a lot of controversy over the last couple of years about under 20s grade, under 21 minor, under 17. But like, I think we do have to take some tips from them or look at it and see how they develop their younger players and how they manage to kind of keep them and bring them on to the senior ranks. I suppose I don't have the answers, but I do think we need to look at it.
That's a very good point. But even though it's the in the Martina O'Brien in a Cork jersey. The good news for Clonakilty football and Ballinascarthy is that there's no end in sight. So is that the plan over the next couple of years? Give your all back to the clubs?
Oh God, yeah. I can't wait. I don't know how much they look forward to me coming back, because I think I'm a bit of a nuisance when I get back to training and screaming at everybody and giving out. And no, it'll be nice. It'll be the first time in a long time that I'll be able to actually. I can't even remember last time I played a league game for Clon or Bal. In Camogie, I'd say I've played a handful of games in the last 4 or 5 years. So it'll actually be nice to start from the start, go back to training. And do you know what? There'll be that bit less pressure as well. You're not running and racing. That's the sole focus. It will be club. So it'll be nice, and hopefully they'll enjoy me being back.
And look into the future. Is coaching management a sort of facet of the game that you're interested in getting involved in?
I think so. I suppose, you know, when you leave a setup like intercounty or if club or whatever it is, I think if it's very hard to leave that environment, and that kind of unit, that group environment, that closeness that you get from a team. I think coaching is the next best thing, really. Like, you still get that buzz from the winning. Look, you get that team environment. Like I suppose I see it at the moment. I'm doing pitch side physio and working with teams, that you get to observe those sides of it. And I really like what I've seen, I suppose, from the kind of coach aspect of it, the management aspect of it, that you still get the ability to be, you get the enjoyment of being in a team and being involved with them. Now, albeit, I suppose you're not getting that competitive side, you're not out in the pitch. That is hard, and it's hard not to be able to do that. But I think you still get the same kind of feeling out of it. So yeah, it's something that I look at. I wouldn't have any experience in coaching, and I suppose there's a lot of things I need to do before even thinking about that. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to get involved with, and maybe not right away because that would take up a lot of time too. So maybe in the next 2 or 3 years we might think about doing that.
Said about the competitive element. Do you get something you miss? Like when you hear that the Cork team is back training, they're going back. Well, maybe not the pre-season training because you know how hard that is. But when you hear when the band is getting back together for the 2023 season, and you're looking at your football boots in the corner, you're saying, "Jesus, did I make the right decision?" Do you think you're going to get that itch to say, "Okay, you know, kind of have I made the right decision here?" Or are you so kind of, "No, this is the right thing. I've called it early, and I'm so happy with the call I've made"?
I think a bit of both, to be honest. I think when you definitely not at the moment. I'm glad I'm tucked in at home at 7 o'clock in the evening when you hear they're going out to the gym or they're doing something else. So I'm happy enough at the moment. But I think when it comes to the competitive side of it, when the games start, when league matches start, when championship gets underway, it's that kind of stuff you'll miss, because it's that competitive edge, that it's the training, it's going to training, it's that environment that you miss. Like, it's not the physical training itself, you know. Sometimes it's really just the environment, and it's the competitiveness of training. You go to training and you know you've championship in 2 weeks time, you know training's going to be intense, you know people are going to bring their A game, and you know you're going to have to match that. So those are the things I suppose you'll miss. At the moment, no, but I do think it's inevitably going to be there when I go follow the girls, and when I know that they have a match coming up at the weekend, or they have a league match and you're going to see it, you'll get that kind of sense of sadness, I suppose. But I think I'm still okay with my decision. I think when it comes to it, I will be okay, because I know what they've had to do to get to that level. So it's hard. That's hard to get to their level. So no, I think overall I'll be content.
I'm going to finish this conversation on a high, and I want you, Martina, to tell me what was the best thing about playing for Cork.
Oh. There's been so much. You could write a book about what you'd love from it. It has to be, for me, the people and the girls, the people that I've met. Like Jesus, even the ladies that have been involved with us, that have been looking after us, the likes of Bridget O'Brien, Joe Shirky, Sheila Dennehy this year. Like, those people that you meet, you'll never forget them. The girls that I've played with, like, every single individual has given you something, and you'll always remember that person, and you'll have that personal connection with them. And I think it's those things, they're the best things. look, I have medals and I'm really, really glad I can leave saying that, but it's the experience that I've had with the bunch of girls. And there's been, I suppose, different bunches over the years, but every single one of them have, I suppose, impacted my life in a positive way. So that's what I really take out of it. I'll never forget those people, and I think you'll always meet them. You'll have the crack and the laugh, and you can always have a memory from it that you'll be able to chat about. So yeah, it's the people, really.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Martina. Gone but never to be forgotten.